All right, I think I'm live. Leave a one down in the chat if you guys can hear and or see me. Would wholeheartedly appreciate that. We got a topic here today that we got to address. We got to go over. We got to be able to talk about it in a very objective manner. I think that the topic itself deserves its just due. I think that it deserves a sense of clarity within it, right? And I want to be able to address it. I want to be able to hit it in the best way that we all as a community know how, because I think that it is very important. I think that it's a very important topic, okay? There's a lot of times on this channel, I go over topics, and you guys already know, Friday, Saturday nights, Red Cup Talk, and we kind of hitting it from a perspective. But a lot of that perspective is driven out of, entertainment and this, that, and the third. I had a particular post that I put in my community chat, okay? And I wanted to be able to go over it because I think that as the majority of the followers on this channel are men, are dudes, we have to be able to talk about that. But I understand that it's a very touchy subject, all right? So we have to be able to talk about it as men should. You understand me? All right? Shout out to everybody that's down to the building. It looks like my mic is working. It looks like my visual is working. Shout out. I'm seeing y'all start to flood into the room. Do me a favor. Hit that like button on the way in. Would wholeheartedly appreciate that. And listen, before we get started, before we start talking about this, all right? Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Listen, everybody that's a part of the community, okay? The MTR community, the Mediocre fam, the part of the masculinity fam, all the fathers that's out there. Happy Father's Day. I really do hope that you are enjoying your day adequately and appropriately. For folks that don't, that are newer to the channel, I am not a father, okay? But my father was an instrument and key within my life. We had about a 2-hour conversation today. You know what I mean? It's, me and my pops, we actually talk like almost every day. I would say like almost every other day. We wrap it up, we wrap it just about, life and just, just different things and components. But the conversation that we had today was super dope. Okay. So listen, even if you guys are not fathers and the women that come down into the chat, make sure you take your opportunity to give your pops a call. All right. Make sure you take that time. All right. Shout out to everybody that's coming out to the building. Would wholeheartedly appreciate a like so we can get this conversation started appropriately, so people are notified that we are having this talk. But we got to hit it. You understand me? We got to hit it. Shout out to Zero. Shout out to Atif. Shout out to Kate Patrick. Yeah, we got to go live on this one. We got to talk about that. All right. We got to talk about this. Shout out to Jay. Appreciate you. Shout out to the introspective man. Pardon the masculinity. Facts. All right. We got to be able to talk about it. All right. Shout out to the introspective male. I appreciate that, my G. Shout out to Uncle Chris. The Patreon gang is in the building. Shout out to Kill Deuce, Lex Lewis, C Gully. That's nice. What's good, my G? Kenny, what's good? Craig, we're going to talk about a recent community chat post. We got to be able to hit it. All right. It's going to get real up in here. All right. But this wouldn't be a Red Cup Talk if there wasn't a degree of getting real, if there wasn't a degree of being solution focused and oriented as we talk about these very real topics. All right. We're going to get into it here in a second, Craig. Make sure that you hold on. All right. Shout out to Scully Gang. Shout out to the Wash Gamer. Shout out to Justin Francis. Shout out to Kasia. First time seeing you down in here. All right. And also, as we hit this topic too, as folks begin to flood into the chat, ladies, okay, I don't want you silent on this. All right. I don't want you guys silent on this. As you guys already know, I like both sides of the coin. And I even like a third side of the coin if it does exist. When we go into topics like this, the purpose of this channel is not to silence someone's voice. Okay. We don't do that over here. All right. Because we understand that as men, we have to have a degree of empathy in the way that we move and we walk to understand different perspectives, right? As we live life. Because here's the thing. I put up that community chat post, and it was a large component of the way that I read and interpreted what was going on there. It was just like, this is a foregone conclusion. She's tripping. Okay. However, I got 600 comments on that came from a lot of different perspectives. Well, most of the perspectives saw the way that I was saying it, but there were some perspectives in there that I wanted to be able to go over. All right. So here's how the show is going to go. Okay. I wanted to talk about the particular post. All right. And then I wanted to get into my perspective. So I'm going to read the post. I'm going to reread the post, and I'm going to try to pick it apart line by line. All right. And then I want to start focusing on solutions. Okay. I want to start focusing on solutions within that discussion. All right. And then I'm going to bring on a very special guest that is going to help me along in this conversation, because I think that his expertise in what it is that we're about to go into needs to be highlighted. And just like I say, you know, you got to be able to leverage your network, because I'm just one person with just an opinion. Okay. I'm not over here saying that I have all of the answers. All right. But we got to talk about it very objectively, very balanced. Okay. In a way to try to push these ideas forward. Because, guys, I understand. I see the comment that's coming in here already. And I took, you know, a similar perspective as a lot of you guys. But we're going to be able to go in here today and really talk about it. You understand me? So that's going to be how the show is going to flow. Okay. Shout out, Riddick. I see you in the building. Okay. Shout out to Aizen Sama. I see you as well, Maji. All right. Listen, we got over 100, I think 140 in here so far. Guys, listen, as you guys are coming in, hit on that like button. All right. I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot of people that's down in here today. So hit on that like button. Would wholeheartedly appreciate that. Listen, we can't ignore these topics. We can't. It is incumbent on us as the predominantly male followers, the men that follow this channel. We got to hit some real topics from time to time. Okay. So I would appreciate, all right, your guys' perspective. Let me go back down to the bottom into the chat. Okay. Let me go back down to the bottom of the chat. Shout out to Timothy. Okay. Had the discussion on Facebook. Majority of the females and men sided with the husband. Listen, I got some comments on my post that did not side with the husband. So that we have to go into it. Okay. We have to go into it. Listen, again, happy Father's Day. All right. Once you guys get outside of this chat room, make sure y'all hit up y'all pops. Even if you called him earlier, call him back then later today, and then reinform him how much you love him. Okay. You understand me? Let's get back down in there. All right, guys. Let me go back and let me pull up this resource. Let me go into the actual post. Okay. Hold on. Let me share the screen. All right. Let me hit on this. You guys might see me look down from time to time, because the reason why I'm looking down is I actually wrote just a couple of quick notes, because I want to make sure that I'm hitting on key pieces within this, that I don't forget some of these key pieces. There probably is going to be additional things that kind of come up from the chat room that's going to remind me of different things. I want to make sure I hit on key pieces. But here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. Let me make this bigger here for a quick second. Here's the thing, right? A part of the reason why I put up posts like this is because I want to defend critical reasoning. I want to defend logic. I want to defend rationale and understanding. I want to defend the use of data. I want to be able to do that. You guys can, all of you guys that follow the channel and look at, you know, how I generally structure videos together. I think a lot of you can say that I try to do my due diligence in standing up to that as well. But here's another thing that I want to defend as well. Within critical thinking, logic, and reasoning, I also want to defend men as well. Okay. I also want to defend men as well. However, all right, on my channel, I don't bang with no low integrity ish ever. I don't bang with it. It's not to say that I'm not perfect. I'm flawed, just like everyone that's down into this chat. I am not infallible. You understand me? I do not bang with low integrity at all. So I want to defend when I can critically reason and think about it, right? when there's data to support my claims, right? There's evidence to support my claims, or I can tell from a degree of reasonableness how my thought should be swayed. You understand me? But at the point that I identify outside of my biases, because I got my biases, I got my unconscious biases as well. At the point that I can identify that through the critical reasoning, the evidence, the knowledge and the understanding that I know, I don't care if it's a man or woman. I don't care the color of your skin, your sexual orientation. I'm going to call a spade, okay? I'm going to try my damnedest not to put any, biases into it. Y'all already know I don't leverage emotion in order to kind of attack a lot of these subjects as well. So I try to come from logic, reasoning, and understanding. I want to defend that because I think that it is key. There was far too much in our society today of folks that do not rely on these basic tenets. Far too much in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to be able to reign true to to these very simple concepts, okay? To these very simple concepts, all right? Hold on, let me just see real quick. Also, another thing I want to hit on as well. This is a very touchy subject. I want to make sure that that's clear before we get into it. I know I said that a couple times already, and I want to be clear. Perpetrators of sexual assault should be tried, right? They should be. I do not support that in no stretch means of the word. I do not support that. Male perpetrators and female perpetrators, they gets no love here. They gets no respect. All right. They should be tried in the court of law where you were innocent until proven guilty. But if you were proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, you do the crime, you do the time. I want to make that abundantly clear before we get into this, okay? I want to make that abundantly clear before we get into this, all right? But I got some things that I got to get off my chest. Let me bring this up on the screen. All right, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Hit the like button as well as you guys are coming down in here. I see 200 in here. I don't even see 100 likes. Hit the like button, please. Would wholeheartedly appreciate it. All right. Let me make something also abundantly clear as well. All right. This post right over here that you guys are looking at, I don't know if it's even real. Okay. Newsflash. Here's how I found it. I was on one of those sites. What is it called? Like Quora, Quora. I was on one of those sites and I saw it posted. All right. Now here's the thing. The content on this channel, either I'll do like random posts like this, or I'll look like something that happened in from like famous people, right? The difference is when you do like the famous people stuff, it usually will come from either their own social media or like a TMZ or like a syndicated news, right? So like they have already done some investigation. They have an opinion, an entertainment opinion. If you get it from like a syndicated news website, TMZ usually tries to stay objective. They don't say right, wrong, or indifferent. They just put the news article up there for you to have a conversation about that. You understand what I'm saying? Quora, there it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's where I saw it at. Quora. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's why I saw it at. Now, I say that to say, I don't know if this is true. And the fact of the matter is, we have nothing else to go on outside of the words that are written in this post. Okay? We have nothing else to go on. All right? So I am simply picking apart the words in the post. I was not there. I don't know who these people are. You understand me? So I want to make that caveat being clear. I don't even know if these are real people, but it's a situation that has happened. Undoubtedly, this has happened. All right. You guys already know. Let me touch on this as well. Okay. Hold on. Let me touch on this as well. As you guys know, I posted a video not too long ago that talked about a situation where I had someone lie on me. All right. I don't know, the majority of you guys that are down in there right now, I don't know how far that your subscription goes back, but feel free to go back and look. How about this? Real quickly, I'll try to condense the story. Met a young lady, all right? Long story short, she ended up stealing from me, right? When she admitted to stealing from me, I called the cops, all right? I called the cops. I informed the authorities. Why? For protection, all right? I informed the authorities, because I didn't do nothing wrong, all right? She was crazy. She stole from me, right? What happened? She told the cop, as the cop is calling her, right? The cop is talking to her, said that I struck her, which is far beyond outside of any truth ever, okay? I've actually talked about this a bunch of times. I've talked about it on my channel. I talked about it on Shea Du Jackson's channel, okay? He actually reposted a video of me talking about it, right? And he did that too because of how important that this is. Far too often, situations like this happen and we don't have the platform to disseminate, number one, okay, how to avoid these situations, okay, because it was a learning experience for me as well. As I told you guys before, I am not perfect, all right? I am not perfect, right? It was a learning situation for me, a learning situation in a way that helped me move differently in life. It helped me see things just a little bit clearer in order to reduce risk. You understand what I'm saying? It also opened up another idea of this concept of human nature, what humans are capable of if their backs are against the wall, what they are willing, ready, and able to do. Also, in the video that I did not too long ago, I talked about solutions that I learned in it that now I take with me for whoever that I meet into the future. We're going to get into those solutions as well, okay? But I want to make sure that I appropriately set up this conversation before we get in, all right? Shout out to everybody that's down into the building. I see almost 250 of y'all, only 100 likes. Show me some love and respect. Would wholeheartedly appreciate that. Hit that damn like button, you savages. Also, too, this will not be 4 hours, okay? this will not be 4 hours, okay? As I mentioned earlier, sometimes I feel, especially with this conversation, not in an appropriate degree of understanding to hit every facet of this conversation. So I'm bringing on an expert. I'm bringing on an expert, okay? I'm bringing on an expert. You understand me? Because we're not going to play these games here today. Shout out to Tangeray. The resident troll on the channel. What's up, Tangeray? All right. Oh, thank you so much, bro, for the $20 super chat. Let me get out the soundboard real quick. Shout out to Tangeray. All right. It ain't real super smart, Red Man. Barack Obama nephew. How you gonna troll me twice in one super chat? You savage. You get one troll per super chat. All right. Shout out to Tangeray. All right. I'd get you back, but I feel like this topic is too serious right now. I got to get back down into my bag. But Tangeray, I appreciate the $20 super chat. Okay, appreciate that, brother. All right, let me go back down. I think I saw another super chat down in there. Oh, shout out to Tangeray again. Damn, MTR. Glad you got past that. Instead of Barack Obama nephew, I'm now calling you Bill Clinton's unclaimed son. Tangeray, we got to work on your jokes too as well, brother. All right. All right. I give that one a 2 out of 10. Okay. I can't give you sympathy laughs. All right. You understand what I'm saying? I can't just give you sympathy laughs. I got to make you earn it. Okay. Got to make you earn it. Shout out to Tangeray. I appreciate the $40 super chats. I appreciate that, my G. I appreciate that, my G. Listen, but we got to get into this topic. We got to be able to hit this in a very respectful and meaningful way. I think that it is very important. Again, very important conversation. Throw a like on the video. All right. I'm seeing 130 likes. There's a bunch of ear hustlers that's down into the building right now. Ear hustlers, throw a like on the video. All right. Ear hustlers, throw a like on the video. We'll wholeheartedly appreciate it. Let's move on with this conversation. All right. Let me get this off the screen. Tangeray. All right. Shout out, my G. All right. Let me pull this up. Okay. Let's have a conversation about this. All right. Now, I'm going to read this one time through, and then I'm going to circle back. I'm going to double back through it. but I want to make sure that we're all on the same accord before we continue on. All right. This is what I posted. I was raped. Now my husband is divorcing me. Okay. Help. Right. So I got into a fight with my husband and went to a bar to flirt with guys and make him jealous. Anyway, I got drunk and some guy took me home and raped me. Okay. Now my husband is divorcing me. And because we have an infidelity clause in our prenup, I might not get nothing in the divorce. No alimony, no house, no car, nothing. Now he and the rapist are working together, exclamation points, to try and make it like it was not rape. Okay. And the bartender is taking their side and saying, I only had 2 drinks, which is a lot for me, and that I was acting like I wanted sex, blaming the victim blaming. Okay. The rapist says I consented, but even if I did, I was too drunk to actually consent. Okay. This is very serious. These are very serious accusations. Very serious accusations. All right. Please, what can I do? I have no job. I can't survive without alimony. The police are pressuring me to drop the charge. But if I do that, it will just help my husband take everything away from me. Okay? Now, real quick, here's what I saw this. All right. Immediately, I was perplexed. Immediately, I was concerned. Immediately, I was befuddled. All right. We're going to get into the reasons why when I reread it, when I re-go through it. All right. Here's what I wrote. And I want to be able to go over this because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all of the information. All right. Before we continue to go through, I said, no. You may not retroactively declare a crime to avoid accountability for your actions. Absolutely absurd. Let me be clear when I say this, okay? Let me be clear when I say this, right? Let me be abundantly clear when I say this, all right? The energy that I took in there to react to this post in the way that I did is the same energy, the same way that I felt when I had those false allegations against me. All right. Why did I do that? Number one, in thinking through the way that the perpetrator in my case made those false allegations, the logic was, how do you even think that that was going to even work? You liar. You petty, dirty liar. How did you even think that was going to work? It made absolutely no sense. Okay. Absolutely no sense at all. And just real quick, too, so you guys can understand the gravity of that situation. The ordeal lasted about 4 hours. Okay. Pretty much I called the cops. The cop called me back and then was articulating the situation from the young lady's perspective. But because of what he just determined, him being a police officer, okay, he said, I'm not even going to bother coming over to you. Like, I'm not going to bother coming over because it just doesn't make sense. I'm paraphrasing what he was saying. He was trying to remain as objective as possible, but he knew what it was, okay? It just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense. If I was a perpetrator, why would I call first? It doesn't make sense, okay? Doesn't make sense. Now, the reason why I came in and I posted that at the top is because the same, in my opinion, the same grimy logic that went into my situation was the same, relatively the same grimy logic that went into how she articulated that. Okay. Same type. Let's get back down into the post. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to reread it. Okay. I want to reread it and I want to pick apart why I decided to do that. Okay. Shout out to Uncle Chris. Fellas, We live in a society where women can literally do whatever they want sexually with no accountability. And in some cases, gain compensation. Listen, I was going to hit on that as well. Okay. I was going to hit on that as well, but perhaps I should bring it up right now. Here's how I wanted to articulate that. Listen, if you drink and you get behind the wheel, okay? If you drink and you get behind the wheel and you hurt somebody, you were held accountable for that. You understand what I'm saying? What happened or what she's articulating over here, the same logic of that can apply, but the public perception of that logic is not swayed between the two adults in their favor. Okay, the consenting adults in that favor. It just doesn't work like that. So here's my argument, gents. We got to talk about this. What are the things that you are doing to reduce the risk of this situation ever happening? And when I say this situation, I'm saying being from the person that she is accusing of the act. You understand what I'm saying? Because oftentimes in the court of public perception, the man is guilty until proven innocent. You understand that? You are guilty until proven innocent in the court of public perception. You understand me? So you have to take these situations critically and seriously. You understand what I'm saying? Critically and seriously. This is not a game. This is not a laughing matter. All right? Shout out to Uncle Chris. I appreciate the $5 super chat. Okay? I appreciate that, my G. All right. Shout out to Tango Ray. 10 gin and tonic, my G. You came in here. You're showing love, support, respect. I appreciate you, my G. I appreciate you. Cheers, MTR. Keep doing great things. I am a big supporter and will improve my jokes. Yeah, they need a little bit of work, my brother. Okay. Anel Wilson got mad at me. Oh, I got to go back later and review what was going on up there. It's hard for me to keep up, but I appreciate the donation. I appreciate the super chat. Okay. Shout out, my G. Shout out. All right. Let me go back into the actual post, right? And give you my opinion the way that I articulated it. At the same time, hold on. Give me a quick second. Okay. Also, for folks that are just coming down in here, flow of the show, I'm going to go through this, okay? I'm going to go through some backlash in the comment section. It was over 600 comments. So you guys obviously wanted to talk about this one. You understand what I'm saying? And then I have an expert that I want to bring on here, and we're going to have a conversation. So stay the hell tuned, okay? Don't you leave, all right? And hit on that like button when you come down in here, all right? Now, let me go through this real quick, all right? Let me go through this real quick. So, okay, so she says at the top, I was raped. Now my husband is divorcing me. Help. She's looking for help. Okay. I read that first line. I read that first line and I said to myself, damn. Okay. Damn. All right. Soon thereafter. All right. The reasonableness of her argument starts to dip for me. Okay. Let's go into why. All right. Let's go into why. So read the first sentence, okay? So I got into a fight with my husband. She got into a fight with her life partner, okay? The one who you jumped over the broom with, all right? You tied the knot with, right? You said to death do you part, right? Your response to that was to go to the bar to flirt with guys and make him jealous. The first line. Okay, the first line, it dipped for me. My reasonableness of the situation began to dip at that first line. If you have the mindset of somebody to come through, right? If you have this mindset to make up your significant other, your life significant other jealous, right? You have that mindset. I think it is not outside the realm of feasibility that you could also make shit up. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm victim blaming. That's not what it means, but I'm just saying my reasonableness, right? for understanding what it is that you're going to articulate later has gone down. This is not even considering the situation yet, but it's going down, okay? At that first line, all right? So I got into a fight with my husband, and listen, I think a lot of you guys missed that first sentence. I think a lot of you guys missed, not the ones who understood my argument, but the ones that were pissed missed that first sentence. I went to the bar to flirt with guys and make him jealous. Anyway, I got drunk and took me home. Anyway, I got drunk and some guy took me home. Okay? Took me home and raped me. Okay? Very serious allegation. She says she got drunk, some guy took her home and raped me. Okay? Sexual assault should be taken very seriously, right? She goes on to say, now my husband is divorcing me. Also, let me call out that second sentence too. To me, it denotes that she had no say in the matter to go home with this person. I wanted to call that out real quick. Third sentence, now my husband is divorcing me, and because we have an infidelity clause in our prenup, okay, I may not get anything. Okay, or what she says, I might get nothing in the divorce. All right, no alimony, no house, no car, nothing. All right, here's the thing. She has gone through an incredible situation, right? A life-altering situation, right? By the third sentence, she is concerned with, let me highlight it, she is concerned with the infidelity clause in the prenup, right? That, and if she is concerned with, she will get nothing in the divorce, no alimony, no house, and no car, nothing. Okay? Red flags for me as a reader to what this is. Red flags for me. Red flags for me. Okay? Now he and the perpetrator, sexual assaulter, are working together to try to make it like it wasn't rape. Okay. And the bartender is taking their side, okay, saying I only had 2 drinks, which is a lot for me. Okay. And that I was acting like I wanted it, blaming the victim. Okay. Victim blaming. That's a phrase that stirs a lot of feelings around people, okay? A lot. You understand me? Now, some key things that I think that she glanced over, right? Key things that I think that she glanced over. Number 1, the bartender is involved, okay? Lord knows how the bartender got involved. Number 2, the husband somehow has the contact information of the perpetrator, okay? If I was to guess, all right, if I was to guess, here's how the scenario played in my head. Anyone who doesn't agree with me, write it down into the chat. Let's have a conversation about it. The husband maybe came across a phone, text message on her phone, maybe was worried about her. And knows that she goes to the local watering hole, right? Went around and asked a couple of questions. They were like, oh yeah, I saw it, da-da-da-da. And she went home with da-da-da-da-da. Somehow he figured out who was the other person involved. Somehow he figured it out. All right. I think that some of the conclusion that went down in here is that the husband set her up. All right. Now, whether or not you believe that the husband set this up, or whether or not you believe the way that I tried to articulate it, we don't know. Okay. Because there's key pieces of information that was left out here. That's not for us to decide, okay? That's for the court of law to decide. That's for the police to decide. You let them do that, okay? But my thing is, I'll be damned if I can't critically think about these very things, and if I should just accept that the person who makes the accusation is always telling the truth. To me, that is intellectual laziness, okay? That is intellectual laziness, and I won't stand for it. And we got to have these conversations on the channel. You understand what I'm saying? Let me continue to go down. All right. Let me continue to go down. Now, she also then says, The rapist, and she's labeling the person as the rapist, okay, says that I consented, but even if I did, I was in caps, okay? I was too drunk to actually consent, okay? She had 2 drinks, all right? Let's say that she's 82 pounds, soaking wet. 2 drinks may be a lot, and it also depends when she says drinks, what does that mean, okay? Did you have 2, you know what I'm saying, Long Island iced teas filled to the brim? Listen, if I have 2 dark cherry Manhattans, okay, I start to feel a little, you know what I mean? I start to feel a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to turn 35 next week, you understand? My liver is getting smaller, okay? I'm not in my 20s anymore. You understand what I'm saying? I used to be able to take that like a tank. Now, also because I don't drink as much anymore, I can't take it as much. You give me 2 Long Islands, you know, it might be a little... You know, I might hit into a stage where I'm not able to make the best decisions. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Hold on. I saw a super chat or 2 go through. Let me just acknowledge real quick. Shout out to David Nito Brown. She better set up OnlyFans. David, show some respect. We got to hit this topic. And shout out to David that's down into the building. All right. Hit on the like button as you guys come in here because we got to have this very real conversation, okay? All right? And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I know how the post is perceived, but I want to be able to come into this with an understanding of, regardless of what this post says, it could be true. What she's saying could be true. The likelihood, from the way that I'm reading it, is very slim. But could it be true? Absolutely. It could be true. It could absolutely be true. That's not up to me to decide. That's not up to you to decide. Leave that for those that went to law school to be able to help figure that out. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Listen, let me finish and wrapping this up, and then let me move on to 1 of the 2 of the comments, and then I got to bring on our resident expert. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Please, what can I do? She says, all right. I have no job. Now, listen, the thing is, when she says she has no job, I go back and read higher into it, and I'm saying the husband did a prenup. What this might be is a trophy wife situation, right? The husband has good money. He's a provider, says, listen, you don't need to work, but he got a prenup, okay? She has no job. She's at home. She stay at home. Okay. Perhaps, maybe I'm misreading that one, but that's my perception. Okay. She says, I can't survive without alimony. Okay. I can't survive without alimony. The police are pressuring me to drop the rape charge. Here's the thing. All right. More often than not, likelihood would tell me that if the police are telling you to drop a rape charge, they don't think that you have enough information. However, there are crooked cops out there. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. All right. But if I do that, it would just help my husband take everything away from me. Listen, after I read that last line, I said, enough is enough. Okay. Enough is enough. Okay. After I consolidate with my mind that critically thinks about situations into the way that she's articulating, the likelihood for me points to that she is concerned about things being taken away from her. Therefore, she has retroactively created a title of her being a victim, the perpetrator being a rapist, in order to fight the injunction that may happen on her, okay, through the prenup. You understand what I'm saying? Hold on for 1 second. Oh, I just saw a couple of the super chats come in. Hold on, let me go back down in there. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson. So what you're telling me is that you had 2 drinks, went home with a random dude, and didn't plan on having sex with him. You weren't drunk enough to not to be able to make the decision to go home with dude. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson. I appreciate the $10 super chat. Shout out to David Nino Brown. 2 drinks ain't a lot for a big David. Show some respect. Show some respect. All right. Show some respect. Sheesh. All right. David, I appreciate the $2 super chat. All right. Let's continue to hit this conversation. All right. Shout out to Boogie Talks. Appreciate you, my G. Patreon gang in the building. Appreciate you guys coming, showing love, support, and respect wholeheartedly, Boogie. I appreciate you. All right. Boogie coming through, and I know Boogie got 17 jobs. I appreciate you, brother. Okay. Hopefully you still that in here. All right. All right. So, guys, listen. All right. Let me get into some of the comments that I thought that there's one comment that I wanted to hit on that I thought was noteworthy that I wanted to be able to bring up right here. Let me bring up on this this extra resource right here. Give me a quick second. I think it is this one. All right, there we go. I pinned this one to the top of my comments. Shout out to Sweet Blackberry. Okay. Shout out to Sweet Blackberry. Sweet Blackberry has actually come through on a Red Cup Talk in the past. All right. And sharing her thoughts and concerns regarding a particular topic. I don't remember what the topic was about, but I specifically remember her coming through. Here's what she said, and I wanted to address the way that she addressed this, okay? Because here, listen, at the end of the day, we're not going to all have the same perception, okay, on one particular topic. I don't shun it. I pin it. You understand what I'm saying? Because we got to be able to talk about it. Look at that. Ended up being 188 replies and a bunch of likes, okay? Now, if I see a bunch of likes there, what that tells me is that there's a bunch of people that agree with this perception. All right. So we got to talk about it. Wait, she isn't retroactively declaring a crime. Wife and husband argued. Wife went out. Okay. Wife drank too much and she wasn't able to consent. Yes, that is a potential narrative. That is a potential narrative. Okay. That you can believe, depending upon the way that you interpret those words, was raped and reported the crime, okay? That was not her fault, you know? I do think, however, Sweet Blackberry, the way that you just articulated that is far different than the way that she articulated that. I think that you articulated here a very clear, logical turn of events that I think it left out key points, okay? I think it left out a lot of key points. It left out the reason that she went out, okay? I think it left out the way that she articulated why she was even posting to begin with. It wasn't seeking counseling over what happened to her, right? It wasn't seeking counseling of how she can move forward in marriage with her husband. It wasn't doing any of those things. It wasn't asking for hotline numbers. It wasn't asking for people's the way that if they've dealt with situations like this, it wasn't doing any of that. Okay. It was specifically, so it appeared to me someone whose back was against the wall that was trying to understand what is the best way to get out of the situation. Okay. In a way that doesn't strip money from her. All right. In a way that doesn't strip money from her. That is very key. Again, we're talking about likelihood here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a critical thinker. All right. That wasn't her fault. How is her assailant able to reach her husband? We talked about that earlier. I don't know. Okay. You can only assume that information was left out. Police, courts are supposed to issue no contact orders towards the accused. That sentence there assumes that he got in contact because of the police and the courts. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. That's an assumption, okay? You don't know if they knew each other beforehand. You don't know if he went over to the bar and was just investigating, talking to people like, yo, my wife didn't come home last night. Did anybody see where she was at? You understand what I'm saying? Hold on, I got to make this smaller because it's missing out on some of the posts. I hope she won't give into police pressure and have her day in court against her assailant. At the end of the day, I agree wholeheartedly with the last point. Okay. Okay. If this is true, take it to court. Take it to court. Absolutely take it to court. Press charges and press charges. However, if this is a false allegation, The person who is being persecuted here should file charges back. We live in a society that the person that is lying, okay, suffers no fate. Some of the time, suffers no fate for the lie, for the destruction of that person's livelihood, suffers nothing. Okay. In my case, when it happened to me, suffered nothing. All right. Suffered nothing. Okay. Suffered nothing. And that's a problem in my eyes, in my opinion. But who am I? I'm one person. Okay. Take it to court, please, if it happened. Absolutely. I agree. Okay. But listen, shout out to Sweet Blackberry, because at the end of the day, I do not agree with the way that she came to the conclusion, or the way that she came to the point, you know. But that doesn't mean that because I don't agree doesn't mean that I don't respect her thoughts. Doesn't mean that I don't respect her views. It's just different than mine. All right. Because here's the thing: just because I went in with my own preconceived notions through my situation, Sweet Blackberry can be going into reading this with her own preconceived notions due to her situations. And I don't know, which is why this is a very touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject. Okay. It's very touchy. Okay. One more comment that I'm going to go through. And listen, this next comment, we got to talk about this next comment. This next comment is dangerous, in my opinion. This next comment is dangerous, in my opinion. I might have lost it. Hold on. Let me bring it up real quick. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Let me take this off the screen. Shout out to Sweet Blackberry one more again. Okay. And listen, guys, if I ping your stuff, if I talk about your stuff in a live stream or something like that, keep on posting. Okay. Keep on putting up those comments. And listen, let me address this as well. I see comments from time to time of people complaining about the topics that I talk about on this channel. Listen, you guys can send me topics. Send me topics. Okay. Send me topics. Send me information. Send me news stories. All right. You can be just as much as a contributor to this channel as the next person. All right. Not as much as my Patreon supporters, because if you're on my Patreon and you suggest me a topic, I'm doing that topic. You guys have my Instagram. You guys have my email address. All right. This is not a place to point a finger at one race, one gender. You know, I'm a dude. I got my biases. I'm going to talk about the things the way I talk about it. All right. But I call out low integrity acts. OK, I call out low integrity acts when I see them. All right. I saw a super chat or two come through. Hold on. Let me address that real quick. Let me address it real quick. You guys are going to want to see this next post. Trust me. Shout out to Jason Scott. All right. Thank you so much for the $4 super chat. When do we just accept that we aren't monogamous? Listen, I've done a multitude of videos about polygamy. You understand what I'm saying? Done a multitude of videos about polygamy. I want to get polygamists to come on to the channel, talk about their relationships live. Okay. If you guys know any, send them my contact info. Okay. Shout out to Jason Scott. Appreciate the $4 super chat. Shout out to Boogie Talks. She who cometh with noneth must leave with noneth. Shout out to Boogie Talks. Appreciate the $2 super chat, my G. Okay. Shout out to Atif Shakur. Proverbs 30:20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. Okay. Emojis. Okay. I see those emojis. Shout out to Atif Shakur. Appreciate the $5 super chat, my G. Okay. You guys are going to see this next one. Hold on. Let me get it out real quick. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, here it is. Got it. Got it. Hold on. Let me put this back up on the screen. Okay. Let me put this back up on the screen. Let me acknowledge this real quick. Oh, shout out to Uncle Gary Grant. Shout out, my G. Okay. Thank you so much for the 10 Canuck bucks. Only children cannot consent. Okay. Men drink, women drink. Why is it that there's a man responsibility to choose for an actual adult? Okay. Ooh, logic. Women of today equals no accountability for their actions. Big up, nephew. Shout out to Uncle Gary Grant, coming by way of Canada, Toronto. Shout out to Uncle Gary Grant. This is why we have to talk about it. Okay. That's why I know that that this topic is very important to talk about, but it's very delicate. Okay. It's a very delicate topic. Okay. Shout out to Uncle Gary Grant. I appreciate you, my G. Let's go over this next one. Okay. Let's go over this next one. Lindsay N. I haven't seen, it's my first time seeing her comment on the channel. She commented 7 hours ago. Okay. 0 subscribers. Okay. Probably made the channel in order to go in on me. Okay. But it is what it is. Let's talk about it. My God. The amount of victim blaming in these comments is actually scary. Okay. Remember, 600 comments. All right. 600 comments. Daryl, shut up. Turn your volume down. And I'm not surprised this YouTuber is defending that man. A woman was raped. Okay. There was absolutely nothing to justify that. Yes, she went to the bar, but that is no justification for rape. Okay. Y'all sick men, or should I say boys, simply want to dismantle what sexual assault is, and I am not here for that. Okay? Let's get this straight. All right? Let me throw this up while I say this. Let's get this straight. Nobody can consent under the influence. Okay? Nobody can consent under the influence. So if your intention is to get women drunk to have sex with her, that is rape. Okay? Listen, real quick. Most of what she's talking about, I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Okay? This one I agree with. This sentence I agree with. If your intention is to get a woman drunk to have sex with her, that is rape. Again, she's saying the intention. The intention. This is different than y'all are two at a bar. Y'all getting drunk together, right? That's different. She's saying the malicious intent of getting someone drunk, right, to the point where they can no longer consent. I agree with that. However, I'm not sure that that happened here. Okay? I'm not sure if that happened here. All right? I'm not sure. Anyway, what she's saying is that no one can consent under the influence. Okay? Which brings me up to one of the major points, gents, okay? One of the ways that you can reduce, okay, this being a part of your reality. You understand what I'm saying? If alcohol is involved, all right, let me be clear for a quick second. If alcohol is involved, be smart, be smart, be smart, okay? As I said earlier, at the point of accusation, you are guilty. You are guilty. You understand what I'm saying? Protect yourself. If you've been drinking, she's been drinking. You know that she's a party girl. She does this. You have additional information regarding about, right? Like, be smart. Okay? Don't just think it's a win because she's into you. You understand what I'm saying? This is the climate that we're in. This is the climate that we're in. It is. Okay? Protect yourself. Right? It's just viscosity. All right? It's just viscosity. All right? If she was that into you, when you guys are over the legal limit, okay? Even before she got over the legal limit, right? She'll still be into you when she's sober. This is the climate that we live in. Protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. Okay? Save text messages. Save calls. I have a call recorder app on my phone. Okay? It comes on as soon as the person starts talking. All right? That is for protection. Yeah. That's my little insurance policy. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Not everyone out here is as high integrity as what you are. Not everybody. Okay? Not everybody is. You understand what I'm saying? Let me be clear. Let's get Reed back focused. Okay? Let me get Reed back focused. Let me take this off the screen real quick so you guys can see the actual post. Okay? Hold on. Hold on. This is a heavy red cup talk, okay? Okay. Let's get back in there. All right. Oh, hold on. There we go. Y'all boys discuss the hell out of me. Okay. Y'all sickos need to learn consent because no matter what the circumstances, you are not entitled to a woman's body. When we say man ain't shit, this is WTF, what we mean. Okay. Y'all are capable of anything. All right. Y'all are capable of anything. And I think the saddest part is, okay, you guys will go to ends of the earth to defend each other, ruining a woman's life in the process. All right. By the way, there was a ton of women that was down into the comments that defended the married man, that defended the person who was being persecuted against. All right. Anyway, I hope y'all are defending the husband go to hell, including this YouTuber. Me? You want me to go to hell? Sheesh. Okay. Wow. I don't want to go there. All right. It's not where I want to go. And if the woman is not telling the whole truth, I would rather defend a liar than a rapist. Okay. Read that sentence very clearly. Read that sentence very clearly. And say if the woman is not telling the whole truth. All right. I would rather defend a liar than a rapist. Wow. This is what I like to refer to as, on the channel, we talk about it, pretzel logic. Okay. All right. Mental gymnastics. Wow. You shouldn't defend the liar or the perpetrator in my eyes. Okay. But if we want to bring it to this rather, okay, this rather than statement, right? Here's the problem that I have here is that the assumption, okay, the assumption that he would rather defend a liar, okay, that you would rather defend a liar, right, than a rapist assumes that he, in fact, was a sexual predator in this situation. It assumes that. So let me ask you a question. If she is a liar, what should happen? What should happen? Because that is very serious. Lives have been ruined because of accusations. Okay? This is damaging. This has to be talked about. This is serious. All right? Y'all ninjas victim blame this woman with your whole chest. Yeah, and yes, I'm black. Listen, this is what I know. Like, when you look at a sentence like this, is like you're probably not dealing with someone who is coming in here in a way to objectively look at and critique the ideas that are presented in a holistic way. Okay. Why do I say that? Why did she add in, yes, I'm black in the parentheses? What does that have to do with anything about y'all ninjas victim blame this woman with your whole chest? Yes, I'm black. What does that have to do with anything? And there's no logical step there that helped me understand that sentence. And because you're black, it makes it make any more sense. It doesn't make any sense. So you might be dealing with someone who has nonsensical conclusions. Okay. Seek blanket help. With a mediocre channel, ain't surprised it's in the channel name. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right. It's a very basic, by the way, it's a very basic insult. I see that on my channel in the comments all day. I see it all the time. Anyway, guys, we got over 300 people that's into the building right now. I see only 200 likes. Do me a favor and throw a like on the video. Okay. Throw a like on the video. Now, I will say this was an outlier statement. It came up a couple of times. This was an outlier statement. However, I wanted to address it. All right. I wanted to address it. Okay. Regret should not be treated as rape, in my opinion. Okay. At the same time, if you did the crime, you got to do the time. Facts. Low integrity people, whether or not you lied, right? Because your back was against the wall, because you wanted his assets. All right. or no matter what, if you are the perpetrator that actually committed the crime, y'all get no love over here. No love over here at all. Okay? No love over here. We call a spade a spade. However, I'll be damned if I cannot call out the unreasonableness of the way that she articulated her statement in a way to push these ideas forward. Because at the end of the day, without the education of people talking about it, young men don't know. They don't understand that people can do this. They don't understand what are the steps that they have to take to reduce the risk. Okay? They don't understand how to protect themselves. They don't understand what to do after they get accused. They don't know. Okay? They don't know. All right? But again, low integrity actors get no love here. All right? You do the crime, you do the goddamn time. All right? I went over that one already. Let me go back down. Shout out to Michael Bennett, my G. You've been grinding, my G. All right, you've been grinding. Will the Korea woman ever change? MTR, what must be done to expose the opportunistic ways of women to level up by way of a man's demise? It's too much. Okay. Listen. The majority of human beings that do this dumb shit, okay, I think they should be incentivized not to, meaning that the accuser, if it is determined that it is fake, all right, charges should be brought up against them, all right? Charges should be brought up against them. But listen, I know that this says the fuckery of women. Listen, low integrity shit on both sides of the coin, right, should be incentivized, meaning there has to be rules, policies, and laws put into place to make sure that it does not continue, whether or not you're the liar or the sexual perpetrator. Shout out to Michael Bennett. I appreciate the $5 super chat. All right. Real quick, last couple of super chats, and then we're gonna bring on a very special guest. Okay, I gotta rely on my network. Okay, I gotta rely on my network. All right, to help me think through these conversations, because this is very serious. All right, it's very serious. Throw a like on the video as well, guys. I'm seeing about 350 that's down into the chat. Only 200 likes. What's up? What's going on? All right, ear hustlers unite. Hit on that like button. Would appreciate it. All right, would appreciate it. Hold on. I see some super chats. Shit, I'm missing some of the super chats. Shout out to A. Look, it's a man. Thank you so much for the $6 super chat. Because men generally outweigh and can overpower women. Okay. Nothing wrong with, hold on, the extra layer of consent. She should be free of consent altering chemicals. Shout out to A. Look, it's a man. I appreciate the donation. I appreciate the super chat. Shout out to David Nino Brown. Appreciate the $2 super chat. This is why I say fly to Dior, Brazil, and buy thoughts. Shout out to David Nino Brown. Okay. Shout out to Boogie Talks. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Right before I give her this sheesh, Boogie. Wait, can I? Okay. I'll put this up on the screen. I can put this one up on the screen. She has to sign or verbally agree, as in a record the audio. And then I go in and yeah, I mean, here's the thing, think about protection standards. All right. If it's a consent form, here's the thing. I don't know about the legalities of having someone fill out a form. I don't know. I am not a lawyer, but my thing is like the due diligence that you placed in order to protect yourself is very key. It's very important. Okay. Shout out to Boogie Talks. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Shout out again to Mike Bennett. A lot of women will have to die off in order for us to have a reset and establish true morality. Can't keep procreating with the devil's daughter. Sheesh, Michael. You're on the sheesh. You're on the reddish blackish pill side today. I don't know. This is I think women that are low integrity, right? That have that hood booger mentality that we talk about. Okay. All right. Have to be held accountable for their actions. Okay. Have to be held accountable. The bullshit. Because accusation can ruin someone's life, can ruin a man's life. We have to be able to talk about that. Shout out to Michael. All right. Shout out to Michael. All right. It's Marketing Mikey down in there. All right. Shout out to Charles. Bro, this chick makes no sense. Yeah, it was tough for me to make it through that post. Shout out to Jordan Williams. My heart bleeds for all the victims. But if the women were responsible for drinking, there would be less. Okay. This stops some people from drunk driving. Listen, here's the thing, right? If you drink and you get behind the wheel and you're over the legal limit, all right, you get treated as an attempted murderer. All right. It is serious. It is very serious. Okay. All right. It is very serious if you choose to do that. All right. Don't do that. You will be held, regardless of the consent of whoever's in the driver's seat, man or woman. If you do that, and listen, I've had situations in and around me where someone was responsible for the death of someone else due to drunk driving. Okay. It is serious, and it is treated like an attempted murder. Okay. It is treated as that. It is serious business. Okay. Shout out to Michael Bennett. No matter the circumstance, a woman is not entitled to a man's wealth or how it should be distributed. The country is brooked. No such thing as a unicorn. Shout out to Michael Bennett. Michael is going off here today. All right. Shout out to Michael. All right. Let's get back down in there. I think that was there's like 3 more. Shout out to Ghost Ninja. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Listen, in the court of public perception is not generally viewed as that. Okay. When it comes to assaults like this, listen, we've had some high class cases. Bill Cosby, who's that? Weinstein, high class cases of some BS, people who were perpetrating, dropping pills, using their power, right? That kind of set off this Me Too stuff. Okay. The Me Too movement, which crazy shit like that should be pointed a finger at. Okay. Should be pointed a finger at. Okay. Again, you have to think about the reasonableness of the claims. Okay. The reasonableness. All right. You can't just believe everybody. There's people out there that will lie. They will lie. They will lie and swear to their mother, their father, and lie. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. All right. Shout out to Isa and Summer, my G. The bartender even said that she wasn't raped, which she stated. If they make it legal for men to buy it, then she can sell it. This lying stops. Shout out to Eisen Sama. Appreciate the $5 super chat, my G. Shout out to Jordan Williams. That's the last one. And we're going to bring on our very special guest. If I had to walk into a crib wearing hood, wearing a red outfit, nobody should mess with me. But that will not be the case. Ladies, don't be ignorant of evil people. There's a hint and a tone of responsibility or accountability that is within that as well. You know, you don't walk into the hood with gold chain shining and nobody knows you. Okay. The expectation is that no one lays a hand on you and that they will respect the laws. Okay. But the reasonablest side of that is that you might get your shit took. Okay. You might get a ratchet placed to your temple. Okay. Because of the risk that you are exposing yourself to. Shout out to Jordan Williams. I appreciate that. Now, listen, let me introduce the guest that is coming here today that's going to help me in this conversation. And I wanted to be able to open up because when I look at this post, what do I see here? Okay. I see someone that initially I look at that and I'm saying this is an unreasonable person. However, okay, I got to put the MTR empathetic hat on. All right. I got to put on the MTR empathetic hat. All right. And I have to be able to address it that this could be someone that is dealing with, what did we say earlier? The bias of a previous situation. Okay. Something that may have happened to her that leads her down this logical path. Okay. I think that there's a lot of us that are suffering with an inability to critically think about these very unique and nuanced situations because we take in pain with us. You understand what I'm saying? We take in the PTSD. We take in the stress, right? Here's one thing I want to share with you guys as well. Pre-COVID, I had therapy sessions scheduled, okay? I had therapy sessions scheduled. I had to cancel those because of the COVID situation, but best believe, know, love and understand that my goal is that when this all kind of dies down, I'm going to get back in it and I'm going to not only schedule those sessions, but also document my thoughts of that, because I think, like, for folks that look like me, there was a stigma placed at not being able to check on your mental health, not being able to, as a man, not being able to talk about your problems, not being able to have dialogue with somebody as a third party to help pain or trauma that you have suffered or incurred. The next person that I'm bringing up here, I'm very excited for this conversation. I've wanted him on here for a very long time, and I've been thinking through the appropriate way to bring him through. Okay. He's very relevant to this conversation. He is a clinical therapist. Okay. Dr. Stevens. Okay. Dr. Stevens. All right. I'm very excited for this conversation. I want him to help us think about ways that we should be thinking about this. Okay. Doctorate of social work, by the way. Okay. Ways that we can think about this to enable solutions, to enable growth. Okay. Without further ado, the virtual therapy specialist. My G, how are you?
What's going on?
We doing, man, listen, this has been a tough conversation, Daryl. This has been a tough conversation, right? But I wanted to be able to bring it. First of all, thank you so much for joining, bro. Thank you so much for joining. You've been on a lot of Red Cup talks, and you've come through and lended your eye, right? Lended your ear, lended your perspective. Okay. Now you have the background to tackle these topics better than I could. Okay. I wanted to be able to leverage you as a strong brother in my network, right? Someone who's dealt with these situations, and I want you to get into that. Okay. Who has dealt with these situations in a way to try to help those that have suffered, okay, that have suffered the intentional or unintentional outcomes of what we see in this post here today, okay? Do you want to start off giving just like a little bit about yourself, Daryl? Because I'm not sure how many people are down or very familiar with your background.
Sure. So I am a clinical therapist, like you mentioned. So you got me?
There's a little bit of lag, bro. There's a little bit of lag. Are you going through your desktop?
I'm going through my iPhone.
Okay. There's a little bit of lag, but feel free to keep on talking. Maybe we'll just deal with the lag for right now. All right, if you could restart over, bro.
Sure. So I'm Daryl Stevens, and I am a clinical therapist, as you mentioned. I'm also a 22-year Army veteran, still serving. And I've done a lot of work in the area that you're talking about. And as it pertains to sexual harassment, sexual assault, I've done work for over 15 years in the military as a SHARP representative. And what that is a sexual harassment and assault response prevention representative. And so I think what we're missing is the education piece. Every young man, every young woman from every walk of life, and this transcends across genders. So I think education is important, first and foremost, and then we can talk about the application to that education. All right, so I just want to run over sexual harassment really quickly, and I'm going to read a definition that's popular across many states, and that stands in the Army as well. All right, so when it comes to sexual harassment, this is categorized as harassment that involves unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and deliberate or repeated offensive comments or gestures of a sexual nature. Let me read that again. That involves unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and deliberate or repeated offensive comments or gestures of a sexual nature. And it doesn't even have to be the person who you're talking to or making the comments to that's offended. It could be somebody else that's offended, and they can make a complaint against you. And as we know, in this culture of Me Too and cancel culture, this is very important. And like you mentioned earlier, it is a very delicate subject. So take those definitions or that definition and take it to heart and really break it down and try to understand what it means. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about sexual assault, and I'm going to read you the definition. Sexual assault is intentional sexual contact characterized by the use of force, threats, intimidation, or abuse when the victim does not or cannot consent. All right. Now we're talking about impaired judgment. When we talk about impaired judgment, alcohol comes up often. Alcohol has been known to impair judgment. That's just a fact. When alcohol enters the room, the entire situation changes. And we all have to be aware of impaired judgment. This is male and female. This transcends across gender, across ages, across culture. So I think when we get basic education and basic definitions, then we can begin to apply these definitions.
Awesome, awesome, and I appreciate you. I'm still getting a bit of a delay. I think some of the people were commenting that they're not getting a delay, so I apologize, bro. If there's like an awkward pause after you stop talking, I'm still listening to your comments. So also as well, I appreciate you hitting from a perspective of operational definitions, right? Because I think that education is key, right? We have to understand, right? Like your first definition, somebody who is not even directly affected by it, right? Someone who's not even directly affected by it can hear it, right? And then it's a problem, okay? Can hear it and then it's a problem, okay? There's a lot of, within corporate environments, within, whether it's a white collar job, blue collar job, there's rules and tenets and policies. Here's my thing, I don't talk about it at all. My ears are uniquely and finely tuned to anything of a sexual nature. I cut it off every single conversation within the workplace. I think that it is incumbent on us not only to avoid those conversations, because you don't know what aspects of the conversation can, hurt somebody, right? Can bring up some type of trauma, some type of experience, some type of pain, okay? And then you're going to get a response off of that, even though you had perhaps good intentions going in. Even though you probably had good intentions going in. Stay away from those conversations, especially in an environment like that, okay? Now also too, listen, Darryl, regarding kind of the culmination and understanding the way that I've gone over this post here today, one of the key things that I was focusing in on is, listen, whether or not the perpetrator, if the perpetrator is guilty, throw him to the gallows, okay? Because I don't support that. I don't respect that. At the same time, okay, if the accuser is accusing someone else of something that they did not do, you understand me? I guess we could talk about it from both sides of the coin. How should the accusee handle that situation, okay? And then how should the accuser, if they feel as though something, they had something that happened to them, how should they go into the conversation as well? If you can hit it from both sides and perspectives.
Well, so a lot of times perception is reality. When it comes to matters like these, when it comes to legal matters, if it looked like something, then it is something. And what comes next is the burden of proof. And normally the burden of proof rests on the person that is accused. You have to prove your way out of it. It just is what it is, normally, not all the time. Same thing for the accuser. There's a burden of proof on both sides. There's laws to protect each. There's also a statute of limitations that we have to be very careful with, right? And I share that with you guys, right? The statute of limitations, and I'm going to read the legal definition for you. So a statute of limitations is the time limits for when criminal charges can be filed are known as the criminal statute of limitations. Prosecutors, both federal and state, are forbidden from charging someone with a crime beyond a specified amount of time. Criminal statutes of limitations forbid prosecution for offenses that occurred prior to a specified time period. Now, you keep hearing me say that word specified, right? That comes down to your local, state, in federal laws. Every has a statute of limitations.
Okay.
And that's basically the time you have to make the allegation.
Okay. Okay. So there's a statute that has to be adhered to. And immediately when you started talking about the statute of limitations, I was thinking about with like Bill Cosby, he had a bunch of different accusers. But I think the only one that could be tried within the statute of limitation is one that happened in like 2015 or something like that. It was like 2015, 2016 or something like that. Okay, so that's interesting to be able to keep in mind. Okay. However, so thinking about it from the perspective of someone that is accused, okay, I talked about earlier, what are the things that young men can do in order to safeguard against being involved in a situation that this can happen to them, being the accusee. Okay. And I talked about from my specific situation, I've had a situation, and it didn't involve sexual assault. Okay. But it involved assault that was completely and unadulteratedly false. And I was happy in that situation that I called the cops first. Okay. That number one, I didn't do that, right? Like I didn't do that's the first thing, that I didn't do what it was accused of me of. But I called the police first. I saved her text messages. I had her calls. I had data that would, in front of the court of law, in front of the police, there is a reasonableness within the data that I can present that would show her claim to be less likely. Did I miss anything that you would perhaps suggest to the brothers that the men that are down into the chat right now in order to continue to help think through how they can reduce the risk?
Yeah, sure. So I want to throw out a term called contingency planning. All right, and contingency planning is making a plan beforehand if something goes wrong. This is your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C. And you do this before your situation, before you actually go out into a situation, before you actually step out your door. If A happens, here's my plan. If B happens, here's my plan. If C happens, here's my plan. And again, this transcends across gender, across culture, across races. It could be the male or the female in a precarious situation where you may be taken advantage of, where you may be unjustly accused, falsely accused. It just all depends.
Okay. And shout out to the super chats that are coming in here right now. I see it. I'm putting it on the screen. I want to continue on with the conversation with Daryl. Let me just see if there was any others, and then I can pop on the screen real quick. Okay. Shout out to Boogie. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson. Shout out to Children of the Shunt. I appreciate the super chats. My G's. Okay, now listen. Daryl, I appreciate you talking about that. Okay. And appreciate you talking about the strategy involved in order to reduce the risk. I think far too often we don't talk about strategy within that, and we don't talk about the ways to reduce the risk. I think that it is a key part of the conversation. Let me also try to transition as well, because if you look at the post that came through earlier, when I look at posts like this, okay, I see hurt, I see pain, I see struggle. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people that will look at a post like this and just say, and there's people that subscribe to me. And I'm trying to go through a period of transitioning as well. But there's people that subscribe to me that will say, women can't think, because they'll look at this and then they'll say that because she's a woman, she thinks like this, women can't think. And my thing is like, I think that this is an outlier in the way that she is thinking about this particular way. But within that, I see pain. I see mental hurt and anguish. Okay. I know that you're a clinical therapist. I wanted to get into the conversation of when should people talk to somebody? Okay. In what forms and what avenues, and how should they do that?
Oh, I look at this post. I see a female that is following the first law of the land, which is self-preservation. So obviously she's concerned about her livelihood. She's concerned about her well-being. She's concerned about her marriage. She's concerned about her reputation. She's concerned about any and everything that has to do with preserving herself. And this is normal. All right. So I also see some layers that could be peeled back, right? And more on the clinical side of things. So when we have a situation where it looks like some layers need to be peeled back, when our livelihood is at stake, maybe it's time to go talk to somebody. Maybe it's time to talk to a professional beforehand, right? I talked about contingency planning earlier. Before the situation, maybe there were some things leading up to her putting herself in this situation. And it really was, judging by the post. So maybe it was time for her to go and talk to somebody and get some help beforehand, whether it be marriage counseling, individual counseling, spiritual counseling, etc. So what we have to think about is mental health. How is our mental health? How are we doing? How are we feeling? How often are we thinking about how we're doing and how we're feeling? Because most of the time we're on autopilot and we just live our lives out. It is important to do a mental check-in. There's a big stigma surrounding mental health. And stigma is a negative attitude about mental health. When it comes to mental health, a lot of things get thrown out like, I'm not crazy. I don't need to see a therapist. Why would I pay somebody to tell me about my problems? I'll just go to the barbershop. I'll just go to Jesus. I'll just go to Allah. I'll just go to Buddha. That's not what we do. Those are other people's problems. Man, it's not that deep. There's so many things that block us from going to the help we need. All right, 1 in 5, and while we're talking about that, I want to throw some statistics at you guys. Since we're talking about mental health and we're talking about men's mental health, right? So 1 in 5 men experience anxiety in their lifetime and actually have the diagnosis of an anxiety disorder. 1 in 5 also experience depression and actually have the diagnosis. A lot of these diagnoses goes unchecked, and we also underdiagnose because we see people when we finally decide to go that are not culturally competent and able to deal with things from our perspective.
Yeah, it's a here's how someone broke it down to me, which is the reason why I set up those appointments. It was key to hear it like this. And the way that I heard it was, but you do a yearly body physical. What makes you think that your mental doesn't need to be checked on? And I was like, oh, you're right. Okay. You're right. Okay. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't wake up 100% of the time ripping and ready to go. Okay. I don't wake up 100% of the time just, clear skies, sunny, da-da-da. There's a lot of shit that we all deal with. Okay. So it's a lot of things that we all deal with, right? There's a lot of things that we put ourselves through, and especially from a man's perspective, we put a lot of things on our back, and we assume that we have to believe the ideas of, but you're a man, deal with it, okay? On your own, all right? What you mean this hurts, okay? Men don't cry, boys don't cry, right? When it was put to me like that, Daryl, that's at the point that I said to myself, I owe it to myself to make sure that I am communicating from a third-party perspective, right? The benefits, right, of talking to someone else who does not have a skin in the game. And that's the thing, like, I would consider my friend group, right, like my geographically close network, I would consider them dope people, right? And I know a lot of people down to the chat probably have dope friend groups as well. And a common question that comes to me is like, I'm sure to you as well, but I got good friends that talk to me, we all talk about our situations. Why would I need a therapist if I have good friends? And one of the answers that I've researched and looked into is, but your friends can be an enabler of bad habits. They can be an enabler or their silence, their complicit nature in not addressing a very complicated issue with you that they've identified within you, okay, or they may not be had the due diligence in their education to appropriately coach you into new ways of thinking, right? But a therapist is paid to do those things. They are paid to listen to you, to understand who you are, where you came from, what your situation was, and then diagnose, and then coach, and then help within that. So listen, that was my rudimentary answer. I wanted to hear your perspective on that as well. The benefits of going outside of your friend group to talk to a specialist that has been trained, okay, to help you in a situation.
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to therapy, my charge is to advocate for anybody and everybody that comes to me for help, regardless of their background, race, creed, color, or origin. And when people come to me, they have issues that they need to talk about that maybe their family can't understand. Maybe their friends can't. Most of the time, our friends and our family, they act as supporters and advocates of who we are and what we do habitually. A therapist is going to be unbiased and give you the raw, uncut truth. And they may give it to you in a way that you don't like. Be prepared to hear some things that you haven't heard before. Be prepared for some layers to be peeled back. Be prepared to go deep. And really, the work is in honesty from the client. If I'm the therapist and you're the client, the work is in you being honest. And when you do sit down with a therapist, it's a safe space. You can talk here. You can be vulnerable here. There's confidentiality. Right? Anything and everything you say stays here. Right? And often we give homework and we give assignments and we check back in with you, maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, to see how you're doing, to maybe give you some more homework to help you work through some things that you probably otherwise would have taken to your grave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Some people hear the word homework and they're like, ah, shit. You know what I mean? I think about like homework from like a school perspective. But here's the thing. A large degree in the way that we have learned to do things is through a degree of coaching or education, right? And the thing is like, as complicated as the human mind is, ignoring something that may have happened, right? Like not addressing something that may have happened, not having there's fitness coaches, there's basketball coaches, right? There's all these different types of coaches, right? That help you think about the tone, right? Like to readjust, right? To fix your form, right? Like all of these different types of coaches. And the mind is way more complicated than your bicep muscle. It's way more complicated than a dribble, right? Like it's way more complicated. So to not think that perhaps you need a coach as well as some extracurricular activities such as homework to help move your mind forward in a direction that can promote happiness into the future, I think is just, it's something that like it's not pushed. In our community. It's something that's not put on a pedestal, but I think it is very, very important. I think it's very, very important. Daryl, listen, I want to make sure I want to be respectful of your time. Okay. Any additional bits to share? And then also as well, brother, where can we find you at? What's the social media? What's the email? You know what I'm saying? Because my understanding is that you do tele sessions as well. So if you could talk through that.
Sure. So I do practice. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Texas as it pertains to clinical therapy. But I do coaching as well. So my coaching is worldwide. You can find me at the Teletherapy Room on Instagram.
Okay.
You guys can send me a direct message there, and I will get back to you promptly. I think it's definitely important to at least do a check-in. And back to the stigma, right? The word stigma. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We all need it. Anybody and everybody needs a coach. LeBron James needs a coach. Michael Jordan needed a coach. Any successful CEO, entrepreneur, or business owner, they need a coach. We can't do it alone. And we have to get away from traditional roles and responsibilities and expectations of men that tell us that we're not supposed to cry, we're not supposed to hurt, and we're not supposed to feel. We're not supposed to think things that are non-traditional. We don't have to. In this age of liberation, in this age of anybody and everybody in every facet of society evolving, men are allowed to and should evolve as well. And I think that involves exploring and discovering and taking a deep dive into what makes us a man, what masculinity truly is. How do we define ourselves as men? It's a very important conversation.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to reach out and talk to a coach, talk to a therapist. If you've been having some anxiety, if you've been having some depression, if you've had a diagnosis before and you haven't been back for treatment, if you were on medication and you're off your medication, reach out again. It's definitely beneficial. And furthermore, some of these mental health diagnoses and disorders can be passed down to our children. A lot of things are generational. Right? And so the responsible thing to do would be to get the help. Check in. Maybe you can break the cycle. Maybe you and you want to break it. Maybe you see some behavior. Maybe you're having some irrational thoughts and they're not quite right. Let me talk to somebody.
That's key. That's key. You know what I mean? The mind, the brain is such a complicated thing. One of which, like I got friends who are brain surgeons, like legit, and I got friends that are brain surgeons, and you know, they'll say we don't understand everything about it, right? But I do know one thing: being able to talk through your issues, especially when you have no one to talk to, is key. All right. Listen, I put the teletherapy room, your Instagram into the chat. Is that how you want them to contact you, Daryl?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So I put that down into the chat. Feel free to rewrite that in there as well, brother. Would appreciate that. Listen, everybody that's down into the chat right now, throw a like on the video. Would wholeheartedly appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? If you guys came in and forgot to be able to do that, please do that for me. Would appreciate it. We had to hit this conversation, and this is one of those touchy subjects. It's one of those touchy subjects that we have to be able to talk about really, truly, and consistently. Listen, Daryl, I'm gonna drop you back down into the lobby real quick. I wanted to conclude real quick, but brother, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for coming through and shedding additional light on this subject. Because here's the thing, I didn't want to come in here and just say, you know what I'm saying? She's lying, because at the end of the day, I don't know. If you understand what I'm saying, I don't know, right? You really and truly don't know. Maybe it's true. After all of what she said and how she just cares about herself and shit, her back's up against the wall, right? Only caring about the things that's going to be taken away from her besides the hurt that the husband's feeling, the hurt that she might be feeling, right? All these different things. The reasonableness pointed me towards a direction of you can't retroactively call a crime. That should be illegal, in my opinion. At the end of the day, you really don't know, okay? So I had to attack this as objectively as I can. But I thank you, brother, for coming through and shedding dope additional light onto the subject, okay?
Anytime.
Absolutely, brother. All right, let me put you back down in there. And then also, let me get this off of the screen. Guys, throw a like on the video real quick. Would appreciate that wholeheartedly. Throw a like on the video. You see the banner going down in there, you savages. Listen, again, happy Father's Day. Happy Sunday. Happy Red Cup Talk. You know, you already know what time it is. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through and having this conversation with me today. These are the type of conversations that we have to be able to talk about, however uncomfortable that they are. I think that it's really, really important to throw these things up in the air in a way where we can critically think not only about what it is, does it make sense, how we should feel about it, but then also what are the solutions? What are the solutions? How do we reduce the risk? How do we make sure it doesn't happen to you? It does happen to you. What are the action steps? Okay. What are the action steps? How do we make sure within that critical thinking that we are assessing the situation in the most healthiest way? Okay. And a lot of that has to deal with dealing with prior issues, dealing with prior things that would make you come up to a biased conclusion or a biased solution, right? We're all work in progresses. We all are. You understand me? Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. I got a Patreon as well. Me and the Patreon gang was down in there having a great conversation earlier. It was a brief conversation because everyone's busy today. It's Father's Day. Okay. Shout out to everybody that came through on the Discord. I have a private Discord server as well. Okay, guys, there's benefits of signing up to the Patreon. Okay, you help support me as a content creator. Okay, and at one of the lowest tiers, you get access to the community chats. Okay, to the Discord. It's a private Discord server, 24/7 access to the community. There's almost 100 of us. Okay, I'll put a link down in there as well so you guys can know what that link is. Continue to support. The more support that I get, the more I can generate my ideas forward, the more I can generate my critical thinking forward, the more I can generate my passion forward, okay, my time forward. You understand what I'm saying, okay? The more that I can do that. So I appreciate all the support. If you appreciate the knowledge, go up there and support, okay? And appreciate all of the super chats. I appreciate all the support. You understand what I'm saying? No matter if the support is Patreon, you know what I'm saying, or super chats, whether or not the support is watching a YouTube video and not clicking on the skip ad button, or whether or not it's going on my Instagram and sending me dope content to be able to react to. There's a multitude of ways to continue to support, to push these ideas forward, okay, and to push your ideas forward, okay? But understand, I'm just not here creating just me just communicating to you. I want to hear from y'all as well, okay? It's funny, like in the Discord server, and I wish actually, I should probably go over here and show you guys some of the conversation in the Discord server, but it's becoming a support group. You know what I'm saying? It's becoming a community of mostly men that are down in there communicating about, you know, the things that we see today, right? And they can do it on a 24/7 basis. So I appreciate the support. I appreciate the respect. I'm gonna leave the link down in there one more time. And we got to have these conversations. Make sure that you share this conversation. Make sure that you share this conversation with your group chat. Make sure you share it with your nephew, okay? Even your niece. You understand what I'm saying? Your cousin. Share it in those group chats. Would appreciate it, because this is a conversation that we don't have enough of, okay? We don't have enough of. You understand me? Let's continue to have it. Until last thing. We got merch too. Pardon the masculinity. All right. Ain't nothing toxic about my masculinity. Ain't nothing toxic about your masculinity. You understand what I'm saying? We come through with the logic. We come through with the rationale. We come through and understanding all sides of the coin. Okay. All sides of the equation, both sides of the coin, in a way to try to promote leadership forward. Okay. Until next time, you two.